Happy Wednesday, folks. Now, what am I saying today? Not Wednesday. I'm rushing the week. It's not Wednesday. It's Happy Tuesday. I don't know why I'm rushing the week. Happy Tuesday, folks. How y'all doing? It's rather bleak outside. Seems as if we're gonna have some rain. I don't want the rain to catch me down here now. Forgot to bring my umbrella. Actually need a new umbrella. My umbrella, I was using it the other day and it was so windy. Now when I was at the bus stop in Brownstone and it was so hot. Yet it was windy and I opened it and it just went apart. But the umbrellas are making nowadays not even good anyway. Anyway, welcome back to Karen Vibes, reading for the mature audience. Hope you're all doing fantastic. Folks, please remember I'm still advertising my teas, K-Spicy Teas. Please remember to go on my tea page. I'm gonna share the link. I have a tea shop online now. And I'm gonna share the link when I'm through. And inviting you to go on my page and please purchase some teas. So if you have friends that you'd like to give a packet of tea or packets of teas, please go on my page, K-Spicy Teas. I'm going to share the link when I'm through. And you can go on my online shop and please purchase some teas. I appreciate it. And what I'm actually doing, and better yet, if you purchase 2 packets of teas, you get 1 free. So if you go online, go on my tea shop, purchase 2 packets of teas, you get 1 free. And if you're lucky enough, you might get 2 free too. Let's see. Anyway, so welcome back to Reading for the Mature Audience. This Flowers in the Attic, written by Virginia Andrews and narrated by me, Karen. So we had stopped at the part where they were looking for Corey, searching around the place for him and they can't find him, and they were saying, God, Lord, don't make him die, don't let Corey die. So we're just gonna get straight into it. So let's continue. Kathy, I found him, shouted Chris. I spun around to see Chris lifting Corey's small, inert form from a trunk that had latched and kept him inside. Weak with relief, I stumbled over and kissed Corey's small, pale face. Turned a funny color from lack of oxygen. His slitted eyes were unfocused. He was very nearly unconscious. Mummy, he whispered. Mummy, he whispered again. I want my mummy. But Mummy was miles away, learning how to type and take shorthand. There was only a pitiless grandmother we didn't know how to reach in an emergency. Run quick and fill the bathtub with hot water, said Chris, but not too hot. We don't want to scald him. Then he was racing with Corey in his arms towards the stairwell. I reached the bedroom first, then sped on towards the bath. I glanced backwards to see Chris lay Corey down on his bed. Then he bent above, held Corey's nostrils, and then Chris lowered his head onto his mouth, until his mouth covered Corey's blue lips, which were spread apart. My heart jumped. Was he dead? Had he stopped breathing? Carrie took one glance at what was going on. Her small twin, blue and not moving, and she began to scream. In the bathroom, I turned on both faucets as far as they would go. Full blast, they gushed. Corey was going to die. Always I was dreaming of death and dying, and most of the times my dreams came true. And as always, just when I thought God had turned his back on us and didn't care, I whirled to grab hold of my faith and prayed. demanded him not to let Corey die. Please, God, please, 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 God, please, 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 please don't let Corey die. Maybe my desperate prayers did as much to help Corey back to life as the artificial resuscitation Chris performed. He's breathing again, said Chris, pale-faced and trembling as he carried Corey to the tub. Now all we have to do is warm him up. In no time at all, we had Corey undressed and in the tub of warm water. Mommy, Mommy, whispered Corey as he came to. I want Mommy. Over and over again he kept saying it, and I could have pounded my fists through the walls. It was so damn unfair. He should have his mother and not just a pretend mother who didn't know what to do. I wanted out of this, even if I had to beg in the streets. But I said in a calm way that made Chris lift his head and smile at me with approval. Why can't you pretend I'm Mommy? I'll do everything for you that she would. I'll hold you on my lap and rock you to sleep while I sing you a lullaby, just as soon as you eat a little lunch and drink some milk. Both Chris and I were kneeling as I said this. He was massaging Corey's small feet while I rubbed his cold hands and made them warm again. When his flesh was colored normally again, we dried Corey off, put on his warmest pajamas, wrapped him in a blanket, and in the old rocker Chris had brought down from the attic. I sat down and cuddled my small brother on my lap. I covered his warm face with kisses and whispered sweet nothings in his ear that made him giggle. If he could laugh, he could eat, and I fed him tiny bits of sandwich and gave him sips of lukewarm soup and long drinks of milk. And as I did this, I grew older. 10 years. I aged in 10 minutes. I glanced over at Chris as he sat down to eat his lunch and saw that he too had changed. Now we knew there was real danger in the attic beyond that of slow withering from lack of sunlight and fresh air. We all faced threats much worse than the mice and spiders that insisted on living, despite all we did to kill every last one. All alone, Chris stalked up the narrow, steep stairs to the attic, his face grim as he entered the closet. I rocked on and on, holding both Carrie and Corey on my lap and singing, "Rock-a-bye baby in the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock." Suddenly, there was a fierce hammering coming from above. A terrible clamor the servants might hear. "Kathy," said Corey in a small whisper, while Carrie nodded off into sleep. "I don't like not having a mommy anymore." "You do have a mommy. You have me." "Are you as good as a real mommy?" "Yes, I think I am." "I love you very much, Corey, and that's what makes a real mother." Corey stared up at me with wide blue eyes to see if I was sincere or if I were only mocking his need. Then his small arms crept up around my neck and he cuddled his head on my shoulder. "I'm so sleepy, Mommy, but don't stop singing." I was still rocking, still singing softly, when Chris came back wearing a satisfied expression. "Never again will a trunk lock inadvertently," he said, "for I smashed every last lock and the wardrobes. No, they won't lock either." I nodded. He sat on the nearest bed and watched the slow rhythm of the rocking chair, Listening to the childish tune, I kept singing right on and on. A slow flush heated his face, so he seemed embarrassed. I feel so left out, Kathy. Would it be all right if I sat in the rocker first and then the three of you piled on? Daddy used to do that. He'd hold all of us on his lap. Even Mummy. His arms had been long enough and strong enough to embrace us all and give us all the nicest, warmest feeling of security and love. I wondered if Chris could do the same. As we sat in the rocker with Chris underneath, I caught a glimpse of us in the dresser mirror across the way. An eerie feeling stole over me, making all of this seem so unreal. He and I looked like doll parents, younger editions of Mommy and Daddy. The Bible says there is a time for everything, whispered Chris, so as not to awaken twins. A time to be born, a time to plant, a time to harvest, a time to die, and so on and so on. And this is our time to sacrifice. Later on will come our time to live and enjoy. I turned my head and nestled it down on his boy's shoulder, grateful he was always so optimistic, always so cheerful. It felt good to have his strong, young arms about me, almost as protective and good as Daddy's arms had been. Chris was right. Our happy time would come the day we left this room and went downstairs to attend a funeral. The time would come. And that's the end of chapter 12 finally. Chapter 12 was really long. So that's the end of chapter 12. We're just going to stop there for this evening. And when we come back, the next chapter is chapter 13 and the heading is holidays. So we're going to see what happens there. All right, folks. So thank you all. You all enjoy the rest of your Tuesday afternoon. And we'll be back. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. I'm going to share the link to my online shop for the teas. So please go on, make your purchases. And as I said, if you purchase 2 teas, you'll get 1. And you might just get 2. You never know. Alright, thank you so much. I will leave the link on my page. Peace out.